We can turn the record.
All right, guys. What did we talk about last week in here?
Bunches of Kleenex.
Bunches of Kleenex is what we talked about? What did we talk about? Anybody remember?
It was short.
It was short. Right.
Oh, yeah.
We had all the people out there, right? Anybody remember? Anybody remember what book it was in?
Was it the one about the soldiers, or was that the week before?
Oh, it's not the one about the soldiers.
Do what?
It's not the one.
The soldiers was the week before.
Wasn't it, Luke?
Good. We'll just move on to this week then. How's that sound?
Okay.
I can tell you about the week before last.
Hey, week before last, what did you learn week before last?
The soldiers. We talked about the soldiers and mainly we just talked about the number of people that have died and the lesson behind that.
All right, good. That's great. That's good. All right. If you have your Bibles, what I need you to do, does everybody have a Bible? Everybody need a Bible? You got one, Stephen? Y'all two in the back need one? Okay.
Yep.
Anybody else? Andrew, did you find your Bible that was in the room over there? Good. Keeps coming back to you, doesn't it? Jesse, you can come and get you a piece of candy. Everybody should get a piece of candy this morning, hopefully. But what I need you to do is hold on to the candy until I tell you. So don't eat it yet, okay? All right. How many of y'all are like me in the sense that you just love the Cliff Notes, right? Like I remember in high school I took AP History and we had this big history book and I'm definitely in this season of life I'm not big on reading. So like I'm not going to go home and be like, oh, I just want to devour U.S. history with my afternoon, right? And so what we did is that they sold the Cliff Notes to them. And the Cliff Notes was still a long book, and so like I had trouble even reading the Cliff Notes of this big book, but at least there was some sense of, thank goodness I don't have to read this entire book, I can just read the Cliff Notes. And the cool thing that we're going to talk about this morning is that Jesus, he simplified the entire Bible. Like, I don't know if you ever come to the Bible and you're like, man, there's no way I could ever read this entire book. You know, there's no way that I could get through all of this. And it just seems daunting. And I don't know if any of y'all have ever even read the entire Bible. But it's cool because Jesus, he deduced it down. He gave us the Cliff Notes into something that is so much more bite-sized and so much more manageable. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about this morning is the Cliff Notes of the entire Bible. Does anybody have any idea what that is? No. If there was one passage that you could turn to that summarized the entire Bible, what would it be? Would you like to know?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, wouldn't that be like some good information? Like if I could summarize the entire Bible into like one verse, if that's the only verse I could have for the rest of eternity, and it would be enough because Jesus said that the entire Bible could be summed up in these.
Great Commission?
Then wouldn't y'all want to know that information?
Yeah.
Good. It is not the Great Commission. It's something else that's great though. Turn your books to Matthew chapter 22.
I thought it was John.
Do what?
I thought it was John 3:16.
I think that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Let's see if this
No, wrong answer.
Wrong answer.
You do not get a piece of candy.
Let's see if this will compete with. Now, Matthew what?
Matthew 22.
Parable of the wedding banquet.
No. Verse 36.
The greatest commandment.
All right, read it for me, Jesse.
It says, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law, you should apply, love the Lord your God with all your hearts, and with all your soul, and with all your mind."
All right, hang on. Love God with what? All heart,
soul,
soul,
mind,
mind, and what?
it doesn't say strength yet.
Okay, and what else? Heart, soul, and mind, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, what else is
This
that?
is the first and greatest commandment.
Okay.
And the second is love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Okay, second. All right, read what else it says.
All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments.
Okay. Go ahead and read through 40. Is that through 40? Yeah, okay. All right.
I knew that too, though. I just didn't say.
Okay. So Jesus says, everything can be summed up in these two things. Love God with all heart, soul, mind, and some versions say strength, and love neighbor as yourself. How many of y'all have heard this before? How many of y'all could, if I told you close your eyes and I covered these up and you couldn't see anything, and I said, what are the greatest commandments? How many of y'all feel like y'all could at least say them in a roundabout way? Yeah, most of us in here, right? We heard this a lot. The thing that I want to do this morning is I want to get y'all to the point of not only knowing this through your head knowledge intellectually, but I want to do some things that are going to help us process this so that we can actually flesh these two things out. These are in my perspective, these are the cliff notes of the entire Bible. And if we can live a life in such a way where we are constantly reflecting upon how am I doing these two things? How am I doing these two things? Then I believe that we can have much victory in the rest of the specificity of the New Testament. So what I mean by this is that you're going to find these two things, this tapestry, running through the entire Bible, let alone the entire New Testament. So, for example, like 1 John 5:2 says that he's talking about loving your neighbors and all this stuff, loving your brothers. He says he says very clearly that you're going to love your brother, and he says the way that you love your brother. Any ideas how you're supposed to love your brother?
As yourself.
Okay, as yourself, but in this, John says it in this way. He says that you're to love your brother by doing this, by doing this. Okay, he says it very clearly. He said you're to love your brother by loving God and by basically doing what he says. Okay, and so it's neat to see that. You find this in Deuteronomy. This is like this is like the John 3:16 of the Old Testament. It's called the Shema. It comes from Deuteronomy 6. And then this principle right here is all throughout the Torah, or the first 5 books of the Old Testament. And so Jesus is saying that if you want to get the cliff notes of the entire Pentateuch, the entire Old Testament, then here they are. And then essentially, he sets this as a foundation that most of the New Testament writers, when they're talking about the problems in the early church and that sort of thing, they're usually trying to get the men and the women of God to come back to these two things. And so if there are two things, the cliff notes, if we could deduce the Bible down to two simple things, this would be it. All right, so let's talk through a couple of deals. What I want you to do is I want you to, Andrew, you and Josh are going to partner up. You two partner up. You two partner up. James, you and Steve partner up. What I want you to do is I want you to try to rephrase these in your own words. Okay? Does that make sense? So I want you to paraphrase these two. I want you to even get it simpler than this. So what do these two things mean? In a simple phrase, tell your partner right now what that is. So y'all just turn around. Y'all talk about it. All right, Sam, you and Stephen got anything?
Love God with everything.
Okay, that's a good paraphrase. Agree, disagree? Agreed. I like it. Any for the second one?
We haven't really talked about that.
Okay, that's fine. We'll move on.
Love neighbor unconditionally.
Okay, love neighbor unconditionally. What does that mean?
No matter what. Love them.
Okay, no matter what, love them. No matter what.
You know, like yourself, no matter what happens, you're still going to love you. So.
Right. I mean, and even when you hate you, you still take care of you. You still feed you. You still bathe you. I mean, that sort of thing. Okay. Y'all get anything? What y'all get?
Love God with everything you do or say.
Okay.
And then love others as you would love yourself.
Okay. Those are hard to paraphrase. Y'all did a good job. Anything different from this? The wiser section?
Love, well, no, about wiser. Love God above all things.
Okay.
And then I like to love the neighbor unconditionally. I like that.
Good. Those are good paraphrases. Good deal. All right. What I want y'all to do now, does it bring any more clarity to these two things when you say it like that? I mean, a lot of times what the problem is in our Western mind is that we try to break down this first commandment in parts. And so we say, what does it mean to love God with our heart? and we say, do. What does it mean to love God with our soul? We say, 3, 4, 5, 6. With our mind, then it means these intellectual things. With our strength, then it means these action things. But essentially what Jesus is saying is that you love God, with everything. You love Him with everything you say, everything you do. You put God first. I mean, everything that y'all said, that's what Jesus is, the principle that He's trying to get to us, okay? And so there should be no questions in this. We shouldn't have to break this down, complicate this. It's simple, okay? The Christian life is simple, but it's hard, okay? This is a simple thing to understand, but it's difficult to carry out. And the second thing, y'all did a great job. Again, what Jesus is trying to say, a lot of modern day psychologists and stuff, as they read the Bible, they say, well, you have to learn how to love yourself first. And, if you are like self-hating and all that kind of stuff, then you need to get over that because you're created in the image of God. But Jesus isn't saying that you need to, love yourself first and then figure out how you love yourself and then love your neighbor. He's not trying to, make it real technical. Again, He's trying to keep it simple. The way that you take care of you, if you're, getting canned food for homeless people or for poor people, and you go to the store and then you buy all the hot top canned foods, but when you buy canned foods for you, you buy all the Del Monte, is that you loving your neighbors yourself? No, it's not, okay? He's saying you buy the Del Monte for the neighbor because that's what you would buy for you. And again, this is simple, but when we really start thinking about it critically, how this plays out is a very, very challenging thing to do. Because we love us some us. And we love our things too, all right? So what I want to do now is I want to split into 2 groups. And so you 4 and then you 4. And I want y'all to brainstorm on ways that you can fulfill the Great Commandments. Okay? I want y'all to brainstorm on ways that you can fulfill the Great Commandments.
What for?
Andrew and...
Yeah, these 4, y'all 4. So y'all 2 over there, y'all 2 over here. We're split into 2 groups. Ways that you can fulfill the Great Commandments.
Do you like examples or what?
Yep. I'd like for y'all to get 10 ways, 10 scenarios. You can do this, okay? Preferably 5 for each. Here's what we're gonna do, okay? What I need is we're gonna get 3 scenarios from this group, and I need y'all to determine whether they go to the love God or love people column, okay? Does that make sense? And if y'all can, what we're gonna do is the winning team or whatever, the one that gets the most right, y'all may all get all of them right, then we're going to give you some candy, some good candy, okay? So there is some stuff on the line. All right, so Jesse, are you the spokesperson for y'all's group?
I got mine. How many we saying? 3?
You say 3, okay?
You want me to say 2 and then you say?
And do not tell me if they're a love God or a love people, okay?
Well, it's kind of like in the...
I got one.
Do not say you can love God by, just tell me what you're going to do.
Alright, make a time chart about like the things you do in your day and
Okay?
how to plan it out.
Love God or love people?
Love God.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, good job. All right, so time chart. All right, read your next one.
You good?
I don't know. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Alright, I'll give another one. He's thinking, somebody's on the side of the road and they have a flat tire.
Okay, love God. Okay, what are you going to do?
Stop and help.
Stop and help them. Love God or love people?
Love people.
Okay, flat tire. Good job.
That was wrong.
Flat tire, flat tire.
They got flat time.